Good morning, students. We'll get started in few minutes. Just let me drink some water. Good morning, everyone. We'll get started in few minutes. Okay, students, let's get started on the introduction to CRM app. Today's class is all about requirement gathering. Okay, I'll try to give you some lessons on requirement gathering and a little bit of analysis and some decisions we will make along the way. For those of you who were asking about the CRM app being a monolith or being a service oriented service, we are going to implement a small service of a CRM app. Okay, we are going to manage. We are going to implement the ticket management service of CRM app. Okay, although the concept of this service can be applied to other services that you want to build later on. So we will look at few more examples towards the later part of the course. Okay, So it has a service oriented architecture, but since we are implementing only a small service, we'll use a single machine and a single code base. So for all purposes, it is monolith for us. Video is gone. Hello, is the video gone for everyone? Just give me 1 second. Oh, sorry. Okay, you might have to check your internet, Ekta. Okay, sure. So uh, we will be developing a monolith because we are implementing only one service, but it is it is a service oriented architecture. If you develop the whole application, it is service oriented. We'll develop a small service. Okay. So now here comes the what is CRM? Customer relationship management. Any ideas about customer relationship management? It's a big industry. It's a big industry where there are lots and lots of apps. It's so and every business is run by customers. If you have customers, you can run a business. If there are no customers, you cannot run a business. And there are various parts of this relationship with customers. First of all, there is marketing. Okay. You need to market it to customers, and you need to know what all customers are on your platform, what all customers you can reach. You need a marketing channel. So for example, if you have a website, suppose you have a website and you want to see how many visitors are coming to your website, how many of them are converting into signed up users, how many of them are converting into buying customers, and so on and so forth. You need a place where you can check all that. Whenever a customer signs up, you should know that he has signed up. Whenever a customer visits or whenever there is a cookie that is created on your website, you should know that somebody was a visitor. You need all that data at some place to do marketing. So that is what customer relations management is one part. When you are starting out and you are creating your funnel, okay? Does that make sense? You should have data about your customers. Okay. So that is one. Second is user profiling. User profiling. You should have a good profile of your users. You should know what your customer is like looking like. So you should do some analytics on the users. You should do a lot of other things on the users. There's one more thing which you need to do. You need to do customer service. Okay. Whenever there is a problem at customers end, whenever a customer raises a ticket, you should be able to resolve it. Without customer service, uh, many of the organizations will not be able to work. So there is an organization called Zappos, and Zappos was built on a simple idea that we will provide the best customer service in the world, and they built $1 billion business just by providing customer service and feedback. Yes. So feedback management is one part. That is true. So we need some management which will tell us what is the feedback we are getting uh, from the customers. We should also need visualizations. Once we have all these, we need an API that can visualize our data for us, because the business owners will not make decisions decisions without visualization. And we need requirement gathering. These are a couple of parts of. We need to know what our user profile is. Basically, you need to create a profile of users. So this is a term in marketing. It's related to marketing, but marketing is like channels. But in user profiling, you should know what is the type of users you are catering to. So for example, if you are running a gym, are you catering to middle-aged men, or are you catering to uh, or are you catering to young women, or are you catering to software developers? Okay, you need to know these user profiles. So suppose you are running a business of a gym, then you need to know what type of members have joined your gym. Okay, so that's kind of user profiling. And there is also feature gathering or requirement gathering. So there are a website reports are in visualization only. Reports are part of visualization. Requirement gathering is where, if you are maintaining a relationship with your customer, you need to know what else the customer needs. Feedback management is there, which tells you what they are thinking about your website or about your service. But you need a requirement gathering website where you can note down what else the customer needs from you. And this typically happens by running surveys, asking them about requirements, and feeding it into a system. And then engineers can look at those requirements and decide, or maybe product managers can look at those requirements and decide what all features they want to build over the next 6 months or next 1 year. Okay, so those are the six features of six key components of customer relation management. You also have like security and authentication. Okay, sometimes you want to make sure that only people who are authorized as your customer should access your uh, product. There is also there can also be one more part of it, um, which I'm forgetting. I just had it in my mind. Roles roles is part of security, like whosoever can access your system. But this is a system which is like, you can think of anything that is going to happen between the business and the customer. So imagine this is your business, this is your small shop, and these are your customers. Whatever relationship you are maintaining, visualization reports means, uh, so you need kind of a dashboard. Think of it like a dashboard. Have you seen dashboards uh, anywhere, Vivek? There are dashboards which gets created, like Power BI and Tabula uses those dashboards. So those kind of modules will be there in your customer relation management system. In your CRM system, there can be visualization modules where you will have details about the customers, what is the age group, what all their access patterns are, what all they are doing, all those things. Okay, okay, Vivek? Yeah. So, anyways, let's go back. This is the business, and I want to. I mean, a little bit of today's class is about business thinking. Some of it is about, of course, it's software development, but we are moving towards software development from business. So I always want you to move to software development from business, not the other way around. So imagine this is a cat, this is a dog, business is a dog. Let me pardon my drawing. uh, I guess this is a dog. Okay, business is a dog, and software development is like the tail. Okay, so there's a saying in English: the tail should not uh, move the dog should move the tail. Okay, so the business should move software development should not move the business. Okay, so now, given a business, the requirement is it should have good connections with the customers. That is the requirement. And that's where it wants to build a CRM app, customer relationship management system, a whole system that will take care. It will be a bunch of smaller systems that will come together to give a uh, good customer relation or good customer service. Okay, all the things that happen with customers will come under CRM app. That is the importance of CRM app. Okay, so what are the uses? Why do you use a CRM app? So uses of CRM. When we build a system like a CRM app, we want to identify potential customers. So we will have like a flow which leads to opportunity to sale. So will we have like a flow from leads to opportunities? Yeah, exactly. That is correct. But we are not going to build the whole CRM system. We are going to build a small part of it. But I just want to open up the whole system so that you know what all there is in this system. And then you can visualize rest of the parts on your own. So identify a potential customer, increase growth of business, which is basically increase the number of customers. This is sales. Maintain positive relationship with customers. Maintain a business cannot run without customers. Okay, so always, where do you work? I work for a company called as Talent Sprint, as well as for an academy here. So there is a program called V. uh, I work there as a lead instructor. I typically teach only. I don't work as a software developer. I only teach. Yeah. So uh, anyways, profitable. Uh, there is a Google. This is program run by Google, which is for women engineers. And there are a bunch of programs that we run. One is women engineers. One is TechWise, which is for US students. We have a bunch of programs. We have WISE program, which is for college students. All these programs are there. Google sponsors these two programs, and WISE is our own program. Yeah. So that's one. So I have multiple subcontracts. One is this one. CodeGem is for everyone, right? CodeGem is for everyone. Yes, Archit. That is true. Everyone can join that. Yeah. It is difficult, but it is a good opportunity. Maintain positive relation. I think I have told you about Google CodeGem Vivek before. Haven't I? I think I have told you 2-3 times about it. Google CodeGem, Google Kickstart, etc. Yeah, that's what he's asking about. Okay. Maintain profitable relationships with customers. And the last one is provide insights into customers. These are the four uses of CRM app, and this is the broader context in which you should put your app into. Okay, so whenever you are working in a company and you are developing a system, you should have a rough notion about where that system fits in. So there will be multiple teams. There will be like 4 teams working on. So a CRM team will not be just a single team. It will be collection of different teams. One will be managing the marketing, one will be managing the sales or sales side of CRM, somebody will be managing customer service side of it. So there will be different teams which will be doing different work, but you should know what exactly is the overall structure of the organization. Okay, and that's where the uses of CRM is concerned. Okay, uh, now this is a big business. I just want to talk about this business for a few minutes. uh, Building CRM applications is a very big business, and there are many small business owners who become customers to you if you develop a good CRM app. And it is very, I mean, it's a problem which don't have a single solution. So for example, gym owners will need a different kind of CRM system, whereas goldsmiths will need a different kind of CRM system, and maybe your barbers will need a different kind of CRM system. Everyone will need a different CRM. They have different requirements. Overall structure is the same. These are the key things, but it is similar to e-commerce website. When you have an e-commerce website, it is not like one cookie cutter e-commerce website can solve all the problems. Every business will have its own way of selling things. Similarly, every business will have its own way of relating to the customers. So far, is it making sense? Are we in the good company right now? Okay. 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 Ravindra Babu Reddy. Babu Reddy, I was calling your name yesterday. You are not responding. What happened? Is your internet not good? Hello. I disconnected him due to internet network issue. Yeah, I thought that way. Okay. No worries. I hope you have watched the video. It was a nice class. So but I have been not seeing you lately. Like it's been 2 3 classes, or maybe more than that, maybe 5 6 classes where I've not seen your name, Babu Reddy, and I was like concerned. Why are you not joining? I think I've discussed it with you before that you had some work related problem. I mean, work related time issue, which is the reason you were not able to join. But can you remind me why you are not joining? I just want to know. There were like few classes yesterday you joined, of course, and before that. Okay, that only, sir. Okay, okay, okay. I hope the work situation is better now and you will be joining more often. Is it good now or is it not? Okay, okay, good, good, good. So we are going to build a CRM app, and uh, this is a small thing that I want to give you at this point. So those of you who don't have a job or who have extra time on your plate and you want to get some experience, um, what you need to do is you can do this. I'll just show it to you. You can go to Fiverr. I'll just show it to you. Those of you who have extra time and want to spend it, there is a website called Fiverr, and the business model of this Fiverr is what you can do is you can build your gigs here. Okay, you can decide what you are going to sell, and I'll show you like CRM app. So suppose I'm writing CRM. Yeah. So there are people who are selling these gigs, and they have like I'll develop CRM ERP apps in ASP.NET and MVC core. So this guy will develop a CRM app for the business, and if he want to fix a bug, he will charge this much. If you want to new features in existing authentication app, he will charge 11,000. And if you want to develop a complete web application, he'll charge 27,000. Okay, and then there will be many people who will be doing this kind of work. They will be providing CRM apps for the businesses. Okay. uh, Now once I'll UX designer for CRM. So this is a guy who will just design the UX for the CRM app, and he will charge like 80,000 for this. Okay. Yeah, there will be more like this. So this is a advice about these classes. This is a general advice. Whenever a new topic comes up in the class, what you can do is you can build a gig around it. Okay. Once you develop a system, or maybe once you have done the front end of a system, you can start building gigs around it. And gig is a service that you can provide to other service you can provide to other businesses. Okay. So what is service to other businesses? Okay, gig is a service. So what you can do is you can design a gig around what you have learned so far. For example, I'll give you an example, a very small example. Suppose you learned how to write. Suppose you learn how to. Suppose you learn how to uh, create, say, a PPT. Suppose just a simple example, PPT, presentation. Okay, you learn how to create presentation. So what you can do is you can show that I can create presentations for you and I'll sell it at this rate. Okay, and then people will come and buy it from you. Typically, when you're starting off, you can charge a little less amount, and slowly as you get more and more customers, you can charge more. Similarly, if you have another application, so suppose you design that I can build a React, or maybe I can build a portfolio website. Suppose you have a simple project like portfolio website. Okay, this is a gig that you can offer, and there will be people who will be interested in getting portfolio website created, a simple HTML, CSS, JavaScript website. Okay, so I'll create portfolio website for your work. This guy will create portfolio website for a small fees. Okay, so he will charge 1200 rupees and he will create a website which will be very professional. Okay. Now, once you have created a portfolio website, this work will be easy. So again, the key part of, yeah. So, so again, the key part of this gig business is you need to create the product once. It is like you need to create the service once, create a framework, framework around the service, and then I mean it is like one uh, cookie cutter service that you can build, like a portfolio website, or like a some people also build e-commerce website. You have built a e-commerce website, you already have a cookie cutter, or you can also build something like a landing page. All these gigs are there. Okay, you can build a small version of it, and then once you have that version built, you can sell it to multiple customers who will need that service. Okay, you can change the portfolio website a little and sell it to customer A, then change it a little, sell it to customer B, sell it to customer C, and so on and so forth. Okay, so this what happens is once you have a portfolio built around these projects, when you have done a real life project with companies, that is going to shine your profile a lot more, that rather than directly going for the job. Okay, you can always go for the job and you can apply there, but if you have some free time on your hand, if you're not working somewhere, if you're in college, it's a very good idea to do this gig business. You can build some services and sell it to other businesses. Okay, it is like freelancing. It's exactly freelancing, but it is more structured in that way that you are not doing anything that everyone asks you to do. You have a decided service that you have built for yourself, and you're selling it to multiple customers. Okay, and that will give you a good practice of all the concepts that you're learning in the class. Okay, does that help? Yeah. Okay. So this is one, and then it's not like it is not a dead end anywhere. Like if you build this, I mean, it might be a little slow start for first 1 month or 2 months, but if you put a lot of effort, you can earn a lot of money by doing just this gigs. So initially you start with one gig and you sell it to like 4 or 5 customers, and then you have two gigs, and immediately you can build two gigs, and then you can scale the business over time. Even if you don't scale the business, you will learn a lot about business if you just do this gig business for some time. Okay, so that's one small business idea. Can you tell more website? I think Fiverr is the best one for this. uh, I think Fiverr is the best one for this, because gig business is more on Fiverr. Other businesses, other Upwork and freelance have the business model where it is more driven by the customer. So in Upwork and freelancer, what happens is uh, Upwork and freelancer are also two websites that you can go for. But Upwork and Freelancer, the idea is customer comes with a request and then you solve that request. Okay, request, and the freelancer or the provider solves that request. In that model, it's sometimes difficult, because what happens in this model is once customer comes with a request, it's very difficult to charge him. Like, you don't know how to charge a customer who comes with a random request. Okay, but if you already know that I have, and then he will have a whole tech stack and you don't know, I mean, it will require much more experience on your part to work on Upwork and Freelancer, because you don't know what exactly he is talking about and how you are going to work with him. But if you are creating a gig and marketing it to bunch of customers who need it, then you have full control over the gig, because now what is happening is, you know that you are only going to build a small website for portfolio and you are selling it to a lot of people. Okay, so you have more control on Fiverr that way. Okay, like product based company does. It's different from, it's a hybrid, I'll call it hybrid, Ekta. It's a hybrid between product and service. Okay, product and service. You have like a, framework with you, and on top of that framework you build different services for different people. Okay, so anything that you can think of, anything that you can think of can be converted into a gig. For example, some people create WordPress website. Okay, WordPress website. Some people create anything that you can think of. Some people even create podcast website. You know, people who use podcasts, some people create podcast websites. So, for example, I'll show you some websites for podcasts that you can create, and you can learn from these websites. For example, Joe Rogan has a very good website, joerogan.com. Is that the correct website? Yeah, this is the website of Joe Rogan, and he has all his business updated here. Okay, this is like a portfolio website, but then he has podcast, and he can watch now. You can click on watch now, and it will take you to Spotify. Okay, so now there are people who will develop. Now there are many podcasters online. There will be many podcasters online, but then there will be people who will be building these podcasting websites for them. Okay, and then if you have built one podcasting website, you know that there will be some kind of collaboration with. There will be some kind of widget for Spotify. There will be some kind of widget for other podcasting platforms. There will be some text. You already know the domain, and then you can sell it to podcasters. Okay, so you can pick a niche and start selling your services there. Okay, coming back to the CRM app, there was a small uh, comment about the gig economy and what happens. Oh, okay, this one more thing, that like one last thing that I want to tell you about this gig economy is, now what happens is, getting a job is difficult. Okay, getting a job is difficult. Although if you study hard, you can always get a job. It is difficult, and it's always uncertain when you will lose the job. Okay, you can lose it anytime. For example, with the coming recession, people lost the job very quickly. Some of the people had very good resumes, still they lost the job. Now, what happens with a side business like a gig is that even if you lose a job, you can go back to the gig and sustain yourself for a few months. Okay. So once you learn how you can market your services, market your bunch of services to the general public, you don't have to worry about job. Even if you lose the job, you can sustain yourself for a year or two, and then you can come back to the job more polished, and then you can. It's mostly you can maintain it. Like if you do a so there are a couple of points here. After selling any gig, who will maintain it afterwards? Colleague, it's mostly people charge a small fees for maintenance. Most of the gigs don't need any maintenance as such, because these are very small. So if there is a portfolio website, you don't have a lot of maintenance. Maybe after few months they have a white label, so they will pay you again for maintaining it. Okay. And why would somebody buy my application? Sir, why? So that is where you have to build a customer. This will take some time. Archit. Basically, you need a lot of uh, reviews, and you need some reviews from people, and you need to do some marketing. So typically, you can start with selling this service to people you know or in your network. And once there is some reviews on your website or on your profile, more people will start coming to you. Okay. Because and people want this service, therefore I mean, it will take some time to start it. There will be a cold start problem, but once you have some reviews, once you have some traction, uh, you can always go back to that business. Is there any gig you have created? Yeah, I used to create when I started out. And so I'll tell you my journey, Salesh. So so I graduated from IT Kanpur in 2014. Until 2000, late 18, I was preparing for civil services. Okay, I was not working anywhere. So what happened was I had a big gap and I was not getting jobs. Okay, I mean, I could get a job, but it was not paying well and all those things. So what I did, I started gig economy. I started selling a lot of freelance work to some of my friends and some of my older, and based on my network. So there were two, three. There was a gray website which I was working on. There was one in ConConnect, or ConConnect's client was there. I was working for him. I was doing bunch of freelance work, but I have not done this gig work yet. I might be doing it in few months, but yeah. So I was doing that initially, and then after 1 or 2 months, I got a very good job, and then after that, I got even better job, and so on and so forth. So I didn't continue on that, but yeah, it's a good business. Okay. Do I need to create some good resources to learn more about gig business? Sir, can you suggest some good resources to learn about gig business? Webhub, I can recommend one website, one YouTube channel that you can follow, but I'm not sure about the quality. Like it's a very good YouTube channel in general. That is called as Your First Million. So I'll just give it to you. Uh, my my first million. This one. There's a podcast and there's a website. So these are people who keep on talking about different business models, and they will typically have a video on the gig business. Okay, so you can learn from there. They have some business ideas will be there only, so you can learn about bunch of business ideas from this YouTube channel. So whenever you are on YouTube, you can browse this. So, do I need to create a website to start the journey as a freelancer to show work? No, Ankit, that's not even. It's a good idea, but it's not that important. I mean, it's a good idea because there are people who are working on other versions of gigs, and they don't have a website, and they still do well. As long as you have traction on the freelance website and you have done some projects, and you don't need many customers also, Ankit. This is also one thing that you might be thinking. You don't need like 100 customers in this gig business. As long as you have 5 customers or maybe 10 customers, um, what will happen is they will keep on coming back with to you with work. I know one person who is doing this work for the video creation. So he does video editing, etc. Video editing and video creation. He only have 5 customers. Okay, all of them are US based customers, and his typical turnover every month is 3 lakhs or somewhere around 2 to 3 lakhs, and he is still in college. So you don't need many customers. You just need good service, and the customers will come. Okay. So 3 lakhs per month is what he's making right now, and he is still in college, and he's not from engineering background also. But it took him some time to get there. He first made small videos for other YouTubers, and then slowly grew his business. Okay. So, anyways, and what this does is it makes you think about business more often. Okay, coming back to the lecture. I keep on digressing from the lecture because of these interesting questions. I'm currently freelancer only. I write technical documentation around Node.js. I wrote a few articles for a community posted on LinkedIn and got a message for a contract. It's a side gig only. Yes, Archit, that's good. Yeah, that's actually good. It's not just that you will. So you might not earn that much in the initially in freelancing. Yeah, you might not earn that much uh, in freelancing, but it's a good side business because you get to learn about a lot of businesses and you get first an understanding of how a business works. Okay, and slowly you can grow it over time. Okay. Hmm. Let's talk about very good, Archit. I'm happy that you're writing technical documentation. That's a good service you're providing. Okay. Scalar topics. You're writing for scalar topics. Very nice. Yeah. They have some good documentation. Yeah. Scalar topics is a very good resource for those of you who want to use it. It's a free resource and you can always go there and read a bunch of topics. So yeah, that's good. I'm happy that you are doing it, Archit. Okay. So let's talk about our problem statement. Create a CRM application that can be leveraged to accept the customer complaints and provide the complete life cycle management of the issues raised by the customers. So let's decipher it. You need a CRM application that can work on customer complaints, okay, and provide complete life cycle management of issues raised by the customers. So imagine there is a business again. This is a general CRM app. It doesn't care which business you're talking about. There's a business and there are customers. These customers have complaints and this business needs some way of managing these complaints. Okay. So what will happen is uh, what will be the life cycle of this management process? Okay. So we need to accept complaints. This is first step. What else do we need to do with the complaints? If a complaint comes to you, suppose you go to have you ever raised a complaint to a customer service in any website? For example, Amazon doesn't deliver you something. What do you do when that happens? You call up Amazon and Amazon says, "Tell me about your complaint." And there will be a customer service representative sitting there. Now what do these people do? Have you ever thought about it, what these people do? Why do they ask so many questions to you? And what do you why do you they want to solve the problem, of course. uh, there's one thing which is to solve problem, which is correct. uh, they need to solve the problem, but how do they manage it? Yeah, Ankit has an experience. There's a work. Ankit, were you in customer service ever any time before? Ankit, for Samsung. Can you unmute yourself and tell me what do you do? It will be a good learning for everyone. If you please unmute yourself and tell us what was the process you followed. Ankit Kumar. Hmm. You will not be able to unmute. No worries, Ankit. That's completely fine. So, uh, yeah. So one thing is, of course, try to connect with solve problem. But there's one more thing. They need to note down the problem first. Whenever a problem comes, they need to note it down, and they need a place where the problem can be shared with everyone in the team, whether it is a tech representative. So once they need to note down the problem and they need to to a team, assign to a team where the team can solve, and then the team can again assign it to a individual, and the individual can solve it. Okay, that process happens, but there will be a single repository where all the complaints will go. Okay, there will be a database which will contain the complaints. And what happens is you call up the customer representative. They sit down on a computer, note down your complaint, they note down your ID, they note down everything. And then they will have a kind of like a form. In this form there will be one thing, for example, user ID. They will know your user ID. Let's say the user is Ravindra. And then he will have a complaint block where he will write what is the complaint. Maybe he is not happy, or maybe he is too happy, he is happy. Something like a blob will be there. And there will be an assignee to which the complaint will be assigned. Okay, so this complaint can be assigned to Gauri, and Gauri is going to solve the complaint. It's a ticket. Yes, exactly, it's a ticket. It's called as a ticket, but it is a place where the complaint is raised. Okay, and then the status will be like status will contain the complaint details, and then the complaint will be Hello, students. Can you hear me again? Sorry for the inconvenience caused by the power cut. There was a sudden power cut at my end. Uh, yeah. Okay. Okay. So there is a ticket where you have the name of the assignee, you have the complaint, and you also might be having other details like status, which is, sir, your native place. It's in MP, Hoshangabad district. Hoshangabad district in Madhya Pradesh. It's called Narmadapuram. Yeah. Status will be like assigned, or it might be. Oh, nice, Navneet. Where are you from, Ujjain? Which part of Ujjain you are from? Are you close to Mahidpur? Okay. Is it close to the takery? I have been to the takery sometime. Okay. Yeah. I have been to the police line. Some of my relatives live there in the police line. Anyways, a sign will be there, processing will be there. There will be different kind of status that you can have. There will be a final status which will be closed, at which point the ticket is finally closed. Okay. So now now this is the key document this is that you have. Okay. Again, one last thing. Okay, sorry for interrupting, but this is such a close, this is topic is so close to my heart that I keep on talking about it. Some of you might be in this process where you don't have experience and you're looking for job, you don't have experience and you're looking for job, and every job that you encounter is again asking you for experience, but you cannot get experience without job. So without job, you cannot get experience, and without experience, you cannot get job. That is catch 22 of unemployment. Uh, Gig economy is the best way to come out of this catch 22. Start doing very small work, which is like, so what happens with job is typically that yeah, exactly, Ankit. So what happens with job is the commitment is longer. They are asking you to stay with you for 1 year at least before they can remove you from the organization, and they cannot take a random bet on somebody who don't have any experience. They have some, no, not just bond, but they have to make sure that if they are hiring somebody, that person should stay with them for 1 year. And if they are having too much attrition very soon, then that's not good for business. So it's a very big risk that the business owner is taking, so they don't typically hire people without experience. But if you have like 6 months of doing gigs, then easily every company will hire you because they know that you are able to sustain yourself in the gigs. So again, to come out of this catch 22, you should do some gigs. You should do some work outside your academics. Okay. Anyways, just because this is like 80% of the people I meet, 80% of the people I meet have this problem that they don't know where to start, and no company uh, is allowing them to join. Anyways, coming back to this is the key document in our database, which is a ticket. Let's talk about some roles. Maybe we can talk about roles, and then we'll talk about the tech stack, and then we'll again go back to roles. Okay. So there will be three main actors. One will be your customer admin user, that is correct. There will be an admin. Very good, Archit. Admin will take care of everything, which will look over the system, and there will be engineers. What they are going to do, I'll discuss more in detail, but basically, customer will raise the complaint, engineers will solve the complaint, uh, and admin will look over the whole flow of the system. He will make sure that people are joining. Whenever a new customer comes, admin will accept uh, his account. Whenever a new engineer is coming, he will onboard the engineer. Okay. Customer will uh, request the ticket. Okay. He will request a complaint. CSR. Archit, customer service representative. Yes, I mean in our model we will not have customer representative. Yeah, I mean you can imagine this customer to be customer service representative. Okay. Uh, you can imagine him to be, but you can imagine him to be customer himself. Don't have to worry about that part. Admin accepts the request. Admin, he will not accept a request. He can uh, admin does not accept request. Customers raise request, and there is typically one engineer who will solve it, or there will be bunch of engineers who will solve it. He can assign tickets to engineers. Okay. Yeah. So our system should have these kind of users. All three of them are users of our system, and you need a way where you can onboard them onto the system. So these users are working on this single ticket, and they need to communicate with each other using the ticket. So these are the key things that you need to know about this system. Now I'm going to talk about the tech stack for a few minutes, because we will be coming back to the tech stack again and again. Okay. So yeah, customer can raise the request to admin. Admin try to solve it from his or her end. If it does not solve, no, admin is not going to solve. Admin is the administrator of the system. It is like it is like I'll tell you how it is. Suppose you are a patient and you go to a hospital. Okay, there will be an admin sitting on the reception who will just look at you, and I mean, that is not a good idea. Admin is not like that. uh, how do I put admin? I It does not solve admin, then he assigns to ticket to the is my in my okay, sorry Ankit. Ankit is like this: customer raises the request to admin, and admin tries to solve it from his hand it for it. And if it does not solve, admin then assigns the ticket to engineer in my last job. That is correct. That is one model in which you have the admin manages the thing. But in this model, we have a slightly different thing. Uh, yeah. Okay. Nice, Ankit. That's a good experience to have. Customer service is the good experience to have. I mean, most of the business related jobs are good to have if you are going to work as an engineer. They're not good jobs to stay in forever. But if you have been working as, if you want to work as an engineer in the long run, these jobs in business are very good add-on. Yeah, because you learn the business from there. Okay. So what will happen is there will be some engineers in the house, and there will be some customers outside, and these customers will keep on raising these requests, and admin should be able to look over the whole system. Okay. Whenever there is some problem with the system, not with the tickets or anything outside the system, whenever there is a problem with the system, the administrator should be the first person to know it. Okay. If there are too many tickets who are lying that are lying up, and they are not resolved, then the admin should know about it, the first thing. Okay. So that is the overall role. We are going to spend another like good amount of time talking about these engineers, admins, and customers. I'm going to show you the roles of all of them in more detail. But right now, I just want to talk about the tech stack for a few minutes. So there are four things that you need to know. First is Node.js. I hope you already have some idea about Node.js. Do you have? Node.js is the backend. So I typically call it as a compiler for JS. So JavaScript runs on browsers, but if you want to run them on your computer outside browser, you typically use Node.js. Okay. Server server side programming. Can we get a gig as a Node.js developer? Don't try to make it as a Node.js developer. Ankit, you can make it like a specific use case on Node.js. That will be easier to sell. Nobody will. So what will happen? Try to think about it, Ankit, from the perspective of your customer. Customer don't know what Node.js is, so they will not say I want a Node.js developer. They will say I want a backend developer who can create the e-commerce website for me, or you can be just like a small part of that Node.js framework. Okay. Yeah, Node.js developer is a full-time job, but you can think of a smaller gig on top of Node.js. I will build a API. I can build APIs in Node.js, or I can be your API developer. Okay. That will be something the customer will know a lot more about. Okay. API developer in Node. So you will have a very specific niche Because if you write Node.js developer, they will think that you can do Express.js also. They will think other things about it, and they will have a different tech stack that you don't want to deal with. If you just say that I'm going to develop APIs for you, and then you can define that depending on how many endpoints there are in the API, you can charge them. Okay, if there are three endpoints, I'll charge this much amount. If there is one endpoint, I'll charge this much amount. That way. Okay, Ankit, does that make sense? Yeah, then you can increase the gig size. Yeah, it will be more. Yeah, that is okay. I mean, but I'm not saying that you should. Ankit, it's not like if you have 10 skills, then there will be 10 more customer to you. It is more like if you have a specific skill that people are looking for, then you can sell it. That is called as niche. Okay, and then you can slowly increase the services that you are selling. That is the better way of going about it, instead of giving a full broad services that customers are not able to understand what you are selling. Okay, find a small niche, get some services in there, and then make it bigger. Okay, does that make sense? Yeah. So start somewhere and get some very small customers. It doesn't matter if you work for like 100 rupees also. Even if you work for 100 rupees for a customer and that customer gives you a good review, uh, that's a good thing, because now next customer you can charge 150 rupees and slowly you will be charging 1,000. Okay. Anyways, that's another topic. So one thing we have is Node.js, and you can of course become Node.js freelancers. Then there is second framework, which is Express. Express is do you have experience on Express.js? Anyone? You have Express.js being taught? Yes. So what Express does is Express does all the what is it called? All the boilerplate code will be there. Yeah, all the boilerplate code that you need for HTTP request, you don't have to create it again. Easy to develop backend. It's RESTful API. All the things that you need from a server, that all the things that you will need for a server to do in general will be yeah, CRUD operations to set up a server. All those things you can do with Express.js. Okay, the server will have whatever a server needs to communicate with everyone else. The typical solutions will be there with Express.js. It's a frame. Okay, so Express.js will be there. The third thing that we need is MongoDB. Now, MongoDB might be something that you don't know about. Do you know about MongoDB? Have it been taught? Has it been taught in class? It's not taught. Okay, so I'm going to teach you MongoDB, and it's a NoSQL database. That is correct. Uh, so I'm going to teach you what NoSQL databases are and why do we need MongoDB at this place. Okay, it's a good introduction. It's a good NoSQL database that you can work with. And finally, why do we need MongoDB? Uh, so it's a longer topic, Deepak. I can explain you in the class, but we can use MySQL. You can use MySQL, but it's a good idea to learn NoSQL DB. Okay, Deepak, it's not so. One thing about this class is not basically to get the best system, but it is also to teach you the best possible. Which is better, it depends on your scale, Aradhya. Okay, there are multiple things that you have to do before deciding which database you will use. It's a whole topic in itself, but yeah, MongoDB also looks fancy on resume. That is true. It's a whole topic whether to use NoSQL or SQL. Yes, Ankit. So very good, Ankit. You have a lot of experience. You have used MongoDB. You have customer service experience. That is good. Okay, so there are two types of databases. One is SQL, another is NoSQL. NoSQL is like anything. I'll give you a general perspective about it, and then we'll get started about it. This is how I explain the NoSQL and SQL in general. So what happened in previous years was, mm, memory was very expensive. Do you remember a time when you used to spend a lot of, I mean, you spent 25 rupees, uh, or maybe more than that, maybe 100 rupees or maybe 25 rupees to get a CD-ROM, which will contain at max like 512 MB of data. Now, or maybe even, and now you can get a much bigger, you can get a hard drive with 1 TB of data for a much cheaper, for a small price. And there was a time when there was one floppy disk used to cost around $1,000. Yeah, there was a time when that was there. So data was, I mean, the storage was very expensive in 1980s. It was very expensive to store data. So people used to minimize the amount of space they use for storing data. And the processing power was relatively, I mean, it was still very expensive, but it was relatively cheap. There was an equation between CPU and storage. Okay. So people came up with this idea, that we will normalize our data and we'll only store one item once. Okay. Every entity that we want to store is going to be stored once. And we are going to do it properly so we can always fetch the data. But so what they did was they created tables which were normalized, and then everything was taken from the table. But coming back to 2010 or 2012, people realize they have a lot more data than they can save in a table format. They have TBs of data. And if you have a table with TBs of data, doing query on it takes infinite amount of time. So people wanted faster ways of accessing data, and a way of, and also the data was unstructured. Yeah, that is was very good, Arjun. So when internet came up, when internet became popular, a lot of data. This happened. This started with Amazon actually. Amazon was facing a problem where, uh, I'll tell you the story. Amazon was facing a problem when it was launching its database. Its Postgres like database was there. I'm forgetting the name of it, but there was a Postgres like Cassandra. No, not Cassandra. There was another Postgres like, there was a SQL database. And what was happening was, to solve some problems on SQL, they decided to create a Dynamo database, which was a small project by some people. There was a small Dynamo database project, and people started using Dynamo more than the Postgres, because Dynamo was solving many problems that were there with the SQL. Then people started using, and finally, Amazon released DynamoDB. Simultaneously, other companies came up and started releasing other databases like MongoDB and Cassandra, etc., etc. And what they were doing was, they were storing data in a different manner. They were not normalizing the data. They were having multiple copies of the same data, and it was floating all over the place, because the memory was cheap. You keep on storing multiple copies and you can access them properly. Okay. And then people also thought about graph data. Instead of having like a doc, so a data can come as a document, it can come as a JSON. What you can do is, you can directly store the JSON in the backend. You know what JSON is? JavaScript object notation. You can directly store a JSON file into the backend. There's not much processing you have to do. And when you store a JSON in the backend, it is called as MongoDB. That's a small definition of MongoDB. You can store the JSON back into the database, and you can access the file directly. Okay. JSON is also a library, but JSON files, I'm talking about JSON files, which are key value pairs. A list of key value pairs are there, Vivek. Yeah. So that is there. So MongoDB repeats our MongoDB. MongoDB is just a way of storing JSON files, okay, and accessing that damn quickly. Okay, is it like a tree structure or array of objects? No, nothing like that. It is just bunch of files stored in the backend. It is not tree structure. It is just bunch of files stored in the backend. And then there is some shard. There is some indexing that you do, Mongo store data as document collection object. Yes, uh, that is a larger definition, Ankit. But you can think of it just like storing JSON files in the backend. Okay, JSON files are the documents that you're talking about, and then these documents will be indexed properly so you can access them quickly. All those things are provided by MongoDB. So basically, the idea is you have a lot of unstructured data and you want very fast access to it. And this also is driven by this idea of SSD. Now you have SSDs. Have you thought about SSDs? What will change if you have SSD on your computer? Have you ever thought about it? Suddenly, your CPU's RAM and your storage are of equal speed. Have you ever thought about this idea? The speed got faster, but suddenly the speed of your CPU and your storage, sorry, of your RAM and storage is comparable. In your college you would have learned there's a storage which is very slow, and there is uh, yeah, have you ever thought about you have a storage which is very slow and you have a RAM which is very fast, and then you do a lot of caching to take values from the storage and store it into the RAM. Yeah, yeah, all those things are there. So but and the storage was slow because it was not providing random access. You have to go to a small place and then fetch data from it, and then everything was indexed, so you have to first rotate your wheel, reach to that point, and then read from there and all those things. Okay, but suddenly storage is of the same speed as RAM. So what people have done them is, yeah, uh, so what people have done is, they've started storing the data structures that you talk about of storing in RAM. They started storing them in storage. So you can store a map into storage now. And you can call it a DB. You can store a graph data structure. You have learned in the graph. I have taught you graphs. So some of you might not know about graphs, but those of you know graph data structure I've taught. You can store directly it into the storage. You can use a linked list and store into the into the storage. And suddenly all the data structures that I was talking to about has become databases. There's no difference between them now because you can store everything into the storage. Okay, and that is what SSDs are doing. And this new SQL movement is kind of part of that. Okay, because now you have random access on your storage, so you can do all these things. Okay. Hmm. So NoSQL is a larger topic. We will spend a whole lecture talking about NoSQL, and I have some good experience in NoSQL because I have written some courses on DynamoDB. How does DB again, please? So what happens is once RAM becomes equal to storage, have you when you write a program, what happens? You you define a data structure like a vector or a map or a set, and that goes stored in the RAM. It does not. It never goes to the storage. Have you ever thought about that? When you write a JavaScript program, it gets stored in the memory heap because you cannot get a random access from the storage, and if you start storing it on the storage it will be very costly. Okay, Gauri. And the thing about RAM and storage is RAM dies as soon as the computer shuts down. This dies when on shutdown. Okay, this dies on shutdown, but it is very fast. But now storage is also fast. So what you can do is you can this no doesn't die, and whatever is stored on the storage is called as database. So now what you can do is you can start storing. Initially what was happening, you were storing data structures on the RAM, and then you were storing some kind of SQL table on the storage because that was giving you speed. But now what you can do is you can directly store the data structures on the RAM. I think that is the future, Archit. We are still uh, we have the software we don't have the software capability for RAM-less systems. We still don't have operating systems that are RAM-less. No, you can store the data structures on this RAM, on the storage. Okay. So what happens is we don't still have the software capability. Hardware is almost there. Software is not there. So once there is more software, so what happens? We are running software from 2000. We are running 1990s software on 2000s hardware. Sorry, 2020s hardware. Yeah. Software is not catching up as fast as the hardware is going forward. Therefore, you don't have RAM-less systems. And there is a lot of investment. It is like asking why don't we have electric cars on the roads everywhere. It takes a car 10 years to pass away from the road. Okay, why don't we have electric cars on the road? Because every car that you buy, you take it for, yes, an environment. Yeah, exactly, Archit. And electric cars are there, but you will not buy an electric car because right now, yeah. Why are we using nine? Because most of the operating systems are 1990s. It takes a lot of time to build big softwares, and companies like Java, companies like Oracle will not let you build faster software. Google is still working on several ranking call technologies. Yes, exactly. So, but we don't have electric cars everywhere because it's very difficult to replace the hardware. If you have like a older system, it will take some time to replace it. So yeah, maybe in next 20 years we'll have RAM-less systems. There won't be any concept of RAM. Everything will be from the storage. Yeah, delhi should have lots of uh, delhi should have lots of electric cars. Yeah, Delhi urgently needs. I went to Delhi once and it was so foggy. Like I was feeling the. Uh, I went there in the winters. Like I went there in October, and it was so foggy and it was a lot of pollution there. So, yeah, data cannot be stored in tabular form in NoSQL database. Yeah, I mean it can. You will not like to store it in tabular form. Different. So NoSQL is not a single. So one thing that you have. I'll explain it more in a lecture on NoSQL. But NoSQL is not a single database that is called as NoSQL. Anything that is not tabular is NoSQL. And there are different types of. Once you understand this concept of storing a data structure into the storage, then any data structure that you can think, if you want to store try tomorrow, try is a data structure that you can use. If you want to store segment trees, you can store directly segment trees. If you want to store a map, you can store a map. All those things get stored on the storage. So there's not a single way of talking about NoSQL. There are different databases and they have their own ways of dealing with problems. But then yeah, but then colleague, you can work with, you can learn one or two. I mean, if you understand five NoSQL databases, uh, then you will understand most of them. So if you understand MongoDB, you need to understand Cassandra. You need to understand what is it called, Radix, Radix, and you need to understand GraphQL, and Neo4j is also one. I guess Neo4j is the name. So there is like 4 5 of them. If you understand the basics of them, then most of the other NoSQL database, whosoever, for example, DynamoDB comes up, you can easily understand DynamoDB by learning about MongoDB. So if you understand 4 5, you understood everything. Yes, exactly, colleague. Yeah, GraphQL is a good knowledge to have, Deepak. Can we skip if we learn Firebase? Can we skip if we learn Firebase? I'm not sure about that, Archit. Uh, if you understand like 4 5 data, I'm going to explain it more. Like I'm going to explain about all the databases in more detail in the coming lecture. And last thing that you need is a way to connect MongoDB with Express, for which we are going to use a framework called as Mongoose. Okay. Firebase DB. I'm not aware of it. I have heard the name somewhere, but I'm not aware about it, Ankit. Firebase is also, so there are different software. I think Firebase is from Amazon AWS. Oh, it is from Google. Oh, I'm not sure about this. Maybe, yeah. I'm not aware about it. There are too many technologies to keep. Yes, I'm going to take a break right now. Thank you for reminding me. I was searching backend for React Native. Uh, Let me search about. Just give me 1 second. Since there is a discussion about Firebase. Okay, let's take a break right now. Just give me 2 minutes. I'll take a break at 34. Uh, Let me search about Firebase because otherwise I'm talking. Firebase. Firebase is from Google. Products and solution you can release and monitor, build app the backend infrastructure. Big theory. Okay, this is a big. Uh, this is a whole framework that you can use to do all the backend coding that you want to do. Yeah. So Firebase is an app development platform that helps you build and grow apps and games users love. Backed by Google and trusted by million business around the world. Okay. So what you can do is you can have cloud authentication extension. Okay, so this is more like plug and play. Yeah, I got it. Now I can tell you about it. Yeah. So what happens is, Archit, so this is what mostly used for no. What happens with this is Firebase, a technology like Firebase is a good starting point. Okay. So, for example, if you have Firebase like technology which provides you already built tools for all the things that you will need to do, it's a good starting point. But when you want to optimize it for your use case, there will be lack of customization at that level. They will not provide you infinite customization. Whereas if you use, if you are building a bigger system, for example, a company which is building a bigger system, a startup which is starting out can use Firebase because it will quickly get them started. But a bigger company will not use a Firebase like system because what will happen is they will want a lot of optimization that they will do, and they will use customized services for this. Yeah, custom solutions is a different story. Yes, that's true. Yeah. And typically most of the, so if you are building a, so most of the gains that companies make come from these customizations. When you have a service like Firebase, then they give you already built solution and they cost a lot more than custom built solution because you can optimize on the cost. So those things are there. But yeah, it's a good thing that you brought it up, Archit. Thank you for bringing it up. I'll learn about it more. Okay, guys, that okay, students, that's it for today. No, not that's it for today. This is the break for the first part. We are going to come back and uh, we can come. Yeah, that is true. You can combine. I mean, you if it is plug and play, you can combine anything with anything, but you might not get that level of customization. Okay, uh, so we are going to take a shorter break today, if that's okay. Let's meet in 15 minutes. Let's meet at 50, 11:50. This business thing, this business thing you are not understanding. It's okay, Vivek. You will get it over time. There are some things about business which will take some time to get. Okay. If you have any specific question, you can ask me and I'll help you out. But most of these things will come with a little bit of experience. Once you go into the business, then it will make more sense. Once you work somewhere for a few months, all these things will become very second nature to you. Okay. So we'll take a break till 42. Sorry, 52 a.m. and I'll see you break till. I'll see you at 52 a.m. Okay. Hello, student. Sir is back. I promised on time. I'm back on time. So let me download the. Now I'll need. I mostly don't teach from the PPT because I find it to be a little distracting. I prefer to teach it from the whiteboard. Anyways, but I need the PPT right now. I need a. Are you all back from the break? Anyways, okay. Let me upload the PPT. So I'll just do file upload and I'll browse the file. Go to relevel ppt.pdf. Sir, do you know about stock market? Yes, Shanawaz, I know about that. I have done an internship in some company called as Con Connect. Have you heard about Con Connect, Shanawaz? Con Connect is a US firm that creates these platforms for algorithmic trading. So what they do is they give you a system like lead code where you can create your own strategy and yeah, algo con no con connect yeah, I've done an internship there. Shanawaz, con connect, you want to see the website, but algo not work too much. It works, people are making a lot of money using it. Anyways, let's talk about few things. And these things we have discussed, this is something we have discussed, problem statement. Let's talk about actors. First actor is customer. Okay. Customer should be able to register himself. Sir, I have a great design making. Oh, nice. Very good. Very good, Shanavas. Try to execute on that idea. Very good. Try it out. Uh, okay. So you have, I should be able to register myself. I should be able to log in for registering and viewing complaint. So there should be a login portal. There should be a registry portal. A customer should be able to raise a complaint and should be able to check the latest status of the issues that he has raised. So if I raise some issues, I should be able to check the status of them. I should be able to modify my raised issues. I should be able to check the complete history of issues raised. I should be able to check the history of the issue. And I should be able to close my ticket myself. So given a ticket, these are the things that a customer should be able to do. Register, login, raise, check status, modify, history, get history, and close the ticket. Similarly, the engineer should be able to accept the issue, should be able to update the issue. So engineer cannot create the issue. He has to accept the issue. He can update the issue or close the issue. Engineer should be able to look at the list of all the issues assigned to him. So given a engineer, you should be able to fetch all the issues assigned to the engineer. Let's go back one step. Given a customer, you should be able to get the list of uh, check the status of the list of issues that you have raised. All the issues that the customer has raised, he should have the status of all of them. Whereas engineer should have the status of all the list, all the issues that are assigned to him. Customer is raising, so he should know all the issues that he has raised. He raises, and engineer gets assigned to. Rajesh, okay, you are late by a few minutes. It's okay. Maybe you are having lunch. So I was just talking about actors, Aradhya, and let me reiterate for you as you have commented. So I was so there were three actors that I talked about: customer and engineer and admin. So these are the things that a customer should be able to do. He should be able to register himself. He should be able to log in. He should be able to raise an issue. He should have this status report of all the issues that he has raised. He should be able to modify issue raised. He should be able to get the complete history of issues raised, and he should have a ticket, closed ticket. Is actor a real term used in software? Yes, exactly. It's a real term, uh, uh, colic. Okay. So these are the things an actor and a customer can do. Ticket means the same thing that I was talking to about. This document that I was talking about, Vivek, you remember? I was talking about this document somewhere. This document which contains all the details about the complaint. It is called as ticket. So that is what a ticket is. It is the key document that is going to be transferred between the different actors in your system. Okay. So he should be able to modify the issue raised. He should be able to check the complete history of issue raised. He should be able to close the ticket. Is that okay, Aradhya? Are you able to understand what a customer will do? Okay. Now let's talk about ticket means issue details. That is correct, Karan. Now we talk about engineer. Engineer should be able to accept the issue because before accepting he cannot update. Then he should be update the issue. Should be able to close it. He should be able to get the list of all the issues assigned to him. So every issue will be raised by somebody and it will be assigned to somebody. He should be able to search for an issue and he should be able to filter issues assigned to him based on creation date. So he should be able to get last 6 months of issues, or he should be able to get last 3 weeks of issues. So those things an engineer should be able to do. Now, an admin is somebody who is just looking after the whole system. He is not going to solve an issue. He sees all customers. Issue history. Issue history is basically list of all the issues. I guess it is the uh, it is the all the issues that is raised by the customer over time. Okay, that's what issue history is. Now, admin is somebody who is able to see all customers' known uh, PII details. I'm not sure what PII details is, but he should be able to personal details. Sorry, personal and identification, like all everything other than password. Anything other than password, the admin should be able to see. Okay, all personal details will be hidden from the admin. He should be able to see all the engineers. He should be able to see ticket details. He should be able to tickets. He should be able to filter tickets based on status. He should be able to reassign ticket to another engineer. He should be able to add a new engineer and he should be able to remove an engineer. So he can do all this, but what is missing? Not the password. Yeah. What is missing from this list? What is one thing that a create user is one thing that is true, but anything other than that, what else he can do? He cannot do that. Other two actors can do, but this guy cannot do it. Admin cannot do something which other customer and engineers can do. He can raise issue, but engineer cannot raise the issue. Login is okay. Updating status, that is correct. He cannot update the ticket. Update ticket is not allowed. This is not allowed for the admin. Admin cannot do this. Okay. So those are the key issues. Admin will be created automatically. So as soon as the system starts, it will be created. Just give me 1 second. I'm getting a call. Hello. So these are the list of admin will be able to assign ticket, right? That doesn't count as updating the ticket because owner of the ticket will change. Yeah, as reassign is okay, but he will not change the status of the ticket. So he will not say that the ticket is solved, or he will not give a resolution to the ticket. All those things are not allowed by the admin. Admin is like a clerk in your company. Okay, he will just look at the overall things. He will not deal into each of the individual tickets. Okay, so that is there. Status can be changed by engineer only. Yes, and the uh, 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 engineer can change it also. uh, Also the customer can change it. Customer can say that close his ticket, so he can close his own ticket, Vivek. Okay, so customer can close his own ticket, so status can also be changed by the customer. Suppose developer is admin, then so he will have two different roles in the system will think of developer and admin as two different roles. So it might be that the same person has two IDs. One is the admin ID, and the other is the engineer ID. Okay, but when they log in with administrator ID, they will have administrator right. When they log in with engineer ID, they will have engineer rights. There will not be a role which is combination of these two. That is not allowed. Okay, if you want to, if the developer is also admin, he will have to log in from the admin ID. Okay, tech stack, we have already discussed this. Okay, so let's talk about some of the features. User authentication authorization API. First feature that we have to build from user profile. How about we separate the roles from user profile and make a set of permissions? Uh, that will complicate the system that we are trying to build, but you can do it in a longer run. If you have bunch of engineers and admins that are common, then you can do it, Archit. But it is not the scope of this app. We can certainly create permissions. I mean, this is called as in AWS, it is called as users and profiles, if I'm not wrong. And what you have is user will have profiles which he can actors can be used, can be users. They can have admin permission. Yeah, that is correct, Archit. That can be done, but it will we will not do it, but that can be done. Okay. Oh, yeah, Malina, it might have happened with you. This is before I joined this course. Yeah, that might be a issue on the back end. Yeah, I was testing. Okay. I don't know what UI you guys see. I have a very different UI than you guys have. So uh, um, I don't know what exactly LMS. What is the learning management software that you are having? So LMS is another piece of software which you will see a lot on online. So there are different LMS which has come up online, and what LMS is a learning management software. What this does is it manages the learning part of the students. There will be teacher and there will be students, and LMS will maintain manage the whole startup. Okay, so LMS is where you are watching this video, and LMS is where you get the all the course detail. So it is also one type of system that you can develop. Okay, so there are many systems like this. Yeah, engineer admin registration will be supported through API, but it needs to be approved by the admin. Let's look at the user authentication APIs. Engineer admin registration will be supported through API, but it needs to be approved by the admin. So admin will approve this registration. Customer registration will be supported through API with no approval needed from the admin. So when an engineer is onboarded, the admin has to approve him. When a customer is onboarded, admin has no right to approve. API to support admin login. Login API should return the access token, which will be used to make all the other calls. So what will happen is, so when you make the admin login call, the API should return the token for that. It should return a token, and then that token you have to send everyone else. Similarly, customer login will also return a token. So when customer needs to log in, it will return a token, and you have to send that token again and again. Similarly, engineer login, it will send a token again and again. Login API will succeed only if engineer registration request has been approved by admin. Okay. Proper error message in case of admin has not yet approved or rejected registration request. So engineer registration, unless admin has approved it, engineer cannot be registered. So these are the user authentication APIs. You can always go back to this list. I mean, always go back to this slide and read about it. But the idea is basically simple. For user authentication, you need a token. A token is a small piece of a key. I'll show you a token. Let me show you a token. So this is called a token. You see here, this is called a token, access token. And whenever I want to log in, I'll have to send this token with my name. JSON Web Token. Yes, exactly. JWT. Okay, you have worked with JWT before. That is good. Then you know about this. You just create a token and send it across. Very good. So now you can create a sign up using this. And then once you sign up, the request may be pending. So one is to get the tokens. This is first thing. You have to get the tokens for JWT. Login API will succeed only if engineer registration request has been approved by admin. Error otherwise. And sign up is very simple. Customer sign up is direct, but user sign up is where the admin has to accept it. So those are the three APIs. So sign up request will be like this. You have a request body where you have to send the name, user ID, email address, password, and user type. If user type is engineer, there should be a login request, which is your user ID and password. This will return you an access token that you can use further. Authentication and authorization of authenticating, authorizing the user API. APIs of getting list of all users. APIs for getting user based on the user ID. API for updating user type and status. So for example, if engineer is there, you should be update his status from pending to approved. You know, there is a status, there is a user status and user type. The admin should be able to update the user status from pending to approved. Okay. So first step is the sign up. Let me go back. Sign up, sign in, and authentication. API for updating user type and status. Authentication and authorization, authorizing above APIs so that only authenticated admin will be allowed to approve the above operations. And engineer admin should be able to log in successfully after the approval from admin user. So an admin can approve other admin. So have you ever been an admin to a WhatsApp group? Anyone? What do? You add users into the WhatsApp group. But if a new admin has to be created in the WhatsApp, then what you do, you have to make, if somebody has to become admin, a previously made admin has to make them admin. Yeah, make as admin. Make as admin option is only available to the admin. So I have my batchmates. I mean, my college hostel group is there. Okay, it's not college wing, college hostel wing group is there, where the 24 students from my college corridor are there. Okay, we call corridor as wing. So there will be 24 students, and there were like four admins in there. And suddenly somebody made a fifth person an admin. Now his name is Neeraj. And what Neeraj did was, first he removed all the previous admins from the group and then added them back. Now what that did was, Neeraj became the solo admin of the group, and he never let anyone else become the admin. So anyways, and that's something mischievous you can do on WhatsApp. He's still alive. He's alive. Yes. Yeah. So anyways, he just wanted to become the admin. He was trolling everyone. This is how college wings are. This is how college wings are. They keep on trolling each other. Anyways, so admin can authorize other admins and engineers, and so authorization. So only authenticated admin will be allowed to perform the above operations. Not everyone can perform. He thinks I'm not. Yes, Suraj. That is what he was thinking. Anyways, so let's look at the second feature. First is getting all users. So you remember this admin here. No, not here. Sir, what we discussed about tech stack? I've discussed about the four tech stacks. You remember? I was talking about the tech stacks that we are going to use: MongoDB, and uh, I don't discuss it from the slide, but I was discuss it from the whiteboard. Here I was discussing the four tech stacks. This is exactly the same that is written on the slides. So don't worry, I've covered it. Okay. So now I'll just click here, and don't you think WhatsApp has drawback that anyone can add you into the without your permission? That is true, Ankit. That is bad with WhatsApp. Uh, that is a very big drawback. People can get very big losses because of that. So there was one case where, what people do. They try to make WhatsApp groups, and they try to, what is it called, bully other people using WhatsApp groups. So once they will get your name, and then the WhatsApp group name will be something like, "I'll kill this person," or "I'll kill." So there will be a WhatsApp group which will say, "I will kill Ankit," and then you will be added to that group, and then another group will be there where there will be 10, 15 people, and they will, and the group will name will be again disturbing, and they'll, yeah. Yeah. Okay. So then that's a very bad situation. Yeah. Any convenience leads to some kind of problems. Even with Twitter, which is what Elon Musk is facing right now, the problem is that free speech, when given to everyone, is like a weapon that people can use against each other. I made group, add them and kick them for nothing. Okay, Aradhya. Okay. Anyways, so I was talking about this idea. Twitter is itself trending. That is true. Anyways, I was talking about this idea that, uh, where is admin? Admin has this right to see all the customers and all the engineers and all the tickets. So somebody should be able to give all the list of users. You need an API that can return you the list of users. Okay. Now I'll go to this. The first API that you need to create is get all users. This API needs an access token, and the access token should be for the login of admin. Only admin should be able to get this list. So this access token, when admin was logging in, whatever access token was returned. You remember I was returning an access token here? When admin was logging in, whatever access token is given, that should be sent here. Does that make sense? Is that idea clear? User status is basically when you have a user which is an when you have a user which is an engineer, then you need a status. So engineers don't get enrolled directly; they have to be approved by the admin once. Okay, pending for engineer and approved once the admin says approve. Does that make sense, Suraj? Do you want an example? Suppose I want sign up. Suppose a engineer wants to sign up here. Vishwa wants to sign up. Then he'll set his password and say type is engineer. The response is going to be user status pending. Then later on, the admin will see that there is a user with a pending status and he will approve him. And then the user will be approved. Does that make sense, Suraj? Suraj? That is what user status is. I can show you in the comment also. Engineer admin registration will be supported through app, but it needs approved by the admin. You can register yourself as an engineer or admin, but you need a approval of the admin before getting onboarded. So that's why you have user status. Okay. Logged in admin should be see the list of users. Yeah, logged in admin. And how do you log in? Anyone who has an access token is thought of as logged in. As long as you have an access token, it is thought that you are logged into the system. So once you have the access token, you can send the username and you'll get the list of users. Okay, Hariharan? This access token is the proof that you are logged in. This is the proof of logged in. Is the approval thing going to follow some automatic verification mechanism? No, no, no. Only the uh, admin will have an API access. Uh, so I'll show it to you. Yeah, update. This is how the status will be updated. You call a put request on user and the user ID, and then you say that once you do a user request like this, uh, it will be approved. So there's a API point where the admin has to hit, and with the user ID will be here. He has to send the user ID, and once there is a user ID sent from the admin, it will be approved. There's no other verifying mechanism. So it happens like, have you ever been onboarded to a company? What happens in that is you go to the office and the admin says, I'm going to create an ID for you. I'm going to create this for you. Please log in and give me your credential and I'll approve it. And once you give your credential, the admin approves it. That's how admins work. Does that make sense, Vishal? Suppose you are the admin and I joined the company. I'll create an ID, I'll make a input, and then I'll send my ID to you offline. I'll say this is my ID, and the admin will say, okay, I'm approving it, and the admin will approve. Yeah, that's how it works. Uh, Mostly they are going to approve, but it is just to safeguard against the case where any user comes to the website and start becoming engineer. That should not be allowed. Only the allowed engineers who are onboarded in the company should be approved. Okay, that is the approval. You can get a user detail. So if an admin wants to see a particular user, he can see that. Okay, he just send the user ID and the user will be visible to him. Okay. Now you have update the status, successfully updated. It is called approved. This is what the so what you can do is you can change the status of of a type and status of a user. This is the body that you will send. You will write the what is the user type and what is the status that you want to update, and this will be saved in the user database. We are going to talk about databases in our upcoming lecture, but basically what you have is this whole map that you're seeing, this whole object will be stored back into the database. Okay, this whole object will be stored, and whenever you say Vishwa 1, this will be returned to you. Yeah, this will be admin token. That is correct, Karan. This will be token of the admin. When admin logs in, this is the token that is returned. Vivek, is this making sense to you? Is this making sense to you? Sir, we use ORM, object relational model. Yes, yes, exactly. We are going to use something similar to that, object relational model. ODM. What is ODM? Sequelize. Oh, okay. How do you serialize this? Oh, you want to ask about? Okay, okay. So, sorry, got it. So what will happen is there will be mongoose in between MongoDB and your database. Yeah, object document model. Okay, you will have MongoDB, mongoose, and your Node.js. And what will happen is whatever objects are there in the Node.js will be converted by Mongoose into the MongoDB MongoDB tables. I mean, there will be some layer in between, but for as far as the overall structure is concerned, you will directly store this object back into the database. There won't be much updating in the object. That's what I'm saying. In object document model, what used to happen was, I guess this is coming from the previous app that you have built when you have to do SQL based transition from object to SQL. Is that what it is? You have an object and you want to serialize it so that you can save it into SQL. Now the thing is, in MongoDB that is not required that at that high level, because any object can be saved as a document directly into MongoDB. Okay, there's only a Mongoose layer in between which will do the job. It's not that thick. That's what I'm saying. Mongoose is ODM. What am I talking? Object relation model, object document model. Yeah, I was not sure about these terms. Object document model and obvious relational model. Hmm. And this is the thing about architecture. Mongoose work. Yeah, Mongoose is the object document model, as the students are calling it. Mongoose converts the objects into MongoDB objects, MongoDB documents. Whatever objects you have in the Node.js can be converted into documents for MongoDB. MongoDB is a package, yes. It's like a library that you can use. Yes. Karan, you have Karan's question is done. Ankit has question another. Ankit, yeah, it is a library that you can use. Sir, who will update the user status to approved? It is updated by the admin. Only admin can do it, Hariharan. So this token that you are seeing, x-axis token, is what is from the admin login. Okay. Now last thing. There are a few more features. There is one feature which is called ticket creation. So once a user has logged in, he should be able to raise a request. He should be able to update the existing request. He should be able to check the status of the request. He should be able to check the list of all requests raised so far from him. So all the requests that he has raised, he should be able to. You remember we have talked about this idea. Uh, I don't like this. Customer should be able to check the complete history of issues raised. So a issue, given a list of issue, a customer should have power to check all the issues that are raised by them. This is what this API is. Mm, yeah. API check the list of all requests raised by him so far. He should be able to authenticate user to raise a request. Authenticate user to raise a request. This is same, so I'll just cut it. Registered engineer, if any, should be assigned to take it automatically. So this I am not able to understand. Registered engineer, if any, should be assigned. If any, should be assigned the ticket automatically. Okay. It should be like the ticket should be automatically assigned to one of the engineers. If you have like 10 engineers, uh, the ticket should be automatically assigned to one of those engineers. You can use a random generation, or you can look at the workload of these engineers to create that. But you want, whenever a ticket is raised, automatically you need to assign it to engineer. Admin can later on reassign the ticket, but that is another part. But these are the uh, key aspects of raising a ticket creation. Okay, so how do you create a new ticket? You call the ticket API with the post method. Do you know about REST APIs, by the way? REST API? Because if you don't know, then this is not going to make sense. So we are going to use a REST API of post a ticket to tickets. The title has to be given, not able to use the device, and then description. Two things you have to send in the ticket. And this ticket representation state transfer. That is correct, Aryan. REST is an architecture. No, REST is not an architecture. REST is a protocol. I can call it protocol as such. Okay. REST is a protocol which is used by different APIs while talking with each other. There should be a genuine thing when you write this post method. Yeah, calling it protocol makes more sense. Yes, that is true. Ankit, when you write this post and you send a URL, this is like calling post on a URL. Now you should have a clear idea. The API and the client should have a clear idea what this post means. And that's what REST is going to define. REST will say post means this, and everyone who uses REST have to say that post is going to mean posting a value to the tickets, adding a value. API can be anything. API can be anything. Even API, when you use something like a map, when you do new map, have you ever done this? Uh, let's say frequency is equal to new map. You are actually using the map API. Okay, Ankit, because you're creating a map from the library map. It is application programmable interface. Any interface, whether it is programmable, whether it is uh, REST API, or whether it's just a function that you're calling or an object you're creating, is called an API. But REST API is one where you talk about it using a URL and you call it using post, get, and put functions. Okay, so that's what a REST API is. Anyways, anyone can raise a ticket. So customers can raise a ticket, and you have to send the customer token to raise the ticket. Then the response will be, the title will be there, ticket priority will be set, status will be set. Reporter, which is the person, no, reporter is the person who has reported it. It is the customer, and there will be an assignee, which is the engineer to which the ticket is assigned. And then the ID will be there, and created date will be, an updated date will be there. So this is how a ticket will look like. And all this data will come from a ticket object in the ticket document in the database. Okay, there will be a document in the database called as ticket, which will contain all this detail. We are going to discuss this in more detail when we talk about MongoDB. But you can imagine there's a document which contain all these details, and as soon as you create the ticket, that document is returned here. You can get all the tickets. This is what admin can do. Admin can get all the tickets. But if an engineer is calling this API with engineer token, then he should get only the tickets that are raised by him. And when a customer is calling this API, a customer should get all the tickets that are raised by him. Engineer should get all the tickets that are assigned to him, and admin should get all the tickets. Does that make sense? Admin should get all tickets. Engineer should get the assigned tickets, and customer should get the raised tickets. All the tickets raised by me as a customer will be coming here. All the tickets assigned to me as an engineer will come here. As all the tickets, irrespective of who has raised and who has it being assigned to, the admin should get a list of all of them. This is what the get API will do. Does that make sense, Vivek? And this is where you also have to visualize. You have to visualize how you are going to build this system in totality. So you should have a. So this is what a ticket object will look like. This is like a row in the DB or a document in the DB, and you just return these documents. Okay. So uh, these are all the tickets assigned to Vishwa 7. Now you can also have ticket based on status. This is only for admin. Uh, Admin should be able to see all the tickets with an open status, or you can implement it for customer and engineer. But yeah, whatever tickets are there, you should be able to you should be able to filter it based on the status. This is very simple. Only the open status ticket should come here. The closed status ticket, which is this last ticket, this is closed, so this ticket will not come. This ticket is device not turning on when powering. Yes. Uh, So this ticket, the ticket ID is 82. The ticket ID of 82 is not coming. So this is 68 is coming and 610 is coming, but 82 is not coming. Last is the ticket manipulation and admin capabilities. API authenticated engineer to update the ticket. Okay. Any engineer with a token should update the ticket. Engineer can search for a ticket, accept a ticket, see the complete list of ticket assigned to him or her, which is going back to the gate API. Updated ticket. When an engineer updates a ticket, that updated ticket should be visible to the customer. So when as an engineer, if I update a ticket, that ticket should be visible to uh, customer. The admin should get list of all customers, get list of all issues, get list of all issues after applying certain filters. He should be able to apply certain filters. He should be able to see active issues, which is basically applying the filter of active. List of all engineers registration requests. So whenever an engineer registers himself, the admin should get a notification that this engineer has registered, and he should be able to accept or reject engineer registration request. So whenever a registration happens, that has to be done. Admin should be notified about it. Yeah. So now here is what it is like. Update the given ticket. In this, what you will do is you have to send the ticket ID. This is the ticket ID. This is a put request. In this put request, you send the title, priority, description, and status. You can change the status. You can change anything in this response request body, and that will get updated in the ticket. Okay, ticket ID has to be sent here, and this can be done by an authenticated engineer. So this token that you are seeing is an engineer token. What is the difference between engineer and admin? Engineer is a person who can close tickets, open tickets, update tickets. Admin cannot do that. Admin cannot update tickets. Admin cannot, he can just reassign the tickets. But engineer is the person who has to close the tickets or move them forward. For example, you go to a doctor. Okay, doctor can write the prescription and doctor can treat you. But the person sitting, the ward boy sitting in the prescription on the reception, for example, which ticket? I'm not able to say. Suppose you go to a doctor, what will happen? You go as a patient, you will say, I have this problem, and doctor will treat you. But the admin on the main desk will only see that which customer is assigned, which patient is assigned to which doctor. Something similar happens here with admin and engineer. Okay, what engineer will change? Engineer can change this status. He can also change the description. So he can add some more details in the line of description. So whenever a ticket gets open, engineers will keep on updating them. He will write that, okay, I checked this device, or he will say, I checked this device, I did a video call. This is the resolution that I come up with. And finally, he writes the resolution and then the ticket gets closed. Does that make sense, Vivek? Can you say yes or no? Status means what? Status means uh, status. What do I say? State. Current state is called status. The state is called as status. So initially the ticket is open, then it is called as assigned. When the ticket gets assigned to an engineer, it is called assigned. Then there will be a state where it is called pending. When the engineer is solving it, it is called as pending. Once engineer accepts it, it gets into pending. And once he closes it, it is called as closed. You see what is the status is? It is how the ticket is at current state. So when you raise a complaint to customer service, it gets open. Then the customer service representative assigns it to an engineer. Then the engineer accepts the request. All that is the state of the ticket. Okay. Can admin will change what? Admin will be able to change the assignee. So if you go back to the ticket here, here is an assignee. It's the name of the engineer. The engineer cannot change who this ticket is. Suppose I have two engineer, Vishwa and Sanket. Now what will happen is, uh, suppose the ticket is assigned to Vishwa, but Vishwa went to admin and say, please assign it to Sanket. Then admin will change the assignee and save Sanket here. That's what admin can do. Does that make sense, Vivek? It's not making sense. Suppose there are two engineers and one engineer has too much workload and he says that I don't want to solve these 10 tickets. Viswa has 10 tickets assigned to him and Sanket has 5 tickets. Viswa says, why do I have 10 tickets? Now, Viswa cannot directly assign this to Sanket because Viswa don't have right over that. But he can go to the admin and then admin can assign the ticket to Sanket. He can send like 3 tickets from Vishwa to Sanket. Now Sanket will have 8 tickets and Vishwa will have 7 tickets. Is my video visible? Yeah, sure. So I'm sorry for the bad video right now, but I am at a different place. Otherwise, my video is usually very good. So it's just today that it is not as good as it should be. Anyways, is this clear, Vivek? Is this making sense? The signing part? Okay, sure. So we can have you can update the ticket. Engineer can update the ticket, and then you have to understand that if engineer is doing it, he can update the ticket. He can update. So we can sell API as a service. Yes, Ankit, you can sell it. That is for sure. You can sell it. That is something for sure you can say. Update means to change. Update is to change. When you change something from an old state to new state, it is called as update. Okay. Suppose a string is there, a string ABC is there. What will change? Whatever was stored at the title will be removed and the new title will be not able to update. Whatever was stored at ticket priority in the document will be changed to 4. This is the old ticket, but these fields in the ticket will be changed to this new values. He can ask you these kind of APIs only. That the way the all the APIs that we are discussing in the CRM app, similar APIs they will ask you to create. Okay. Title can be defined by the customer, but that can be updated by the engineer. Engineer can update the title, that's okay, as long, but one thing that he cannot update is the ticket ID. So once the ticket ID is set, the engineer can update the title a little here and there. And typically they will not do it, but suppose there's a title and he want to add urgent to it. Suppose he want to add urgent in front of the title, he can do that, and the user will be notified about it. Okay. Once the engineer changes these tickets, the user gets automatically identified, automatically uh, informed about it. Does that make sense, Vivek? Suppose customer says, I'm facing issue with engineer, then engineer will change. Yes, I'm not facing. No, that's not gonna happen. That is not going to happen. I mean, engineers should have the power. Although engineers will not misuse that power. So this is a general point that you will encounter in systems. So yeah. So suppose there is a system built in a company, then the users inside the system will have much more power than user outside the system. So engineers will have a lot of power. So engineer can directly go into the DB and change the status directly. Okay. Yeah. So that's what I'm talking about, Vivek. Just give me 2 minutes. So there is a concept of security. Okay. In a company, security is of two types. One is the internal security, and one is the external security. Now, external people who are outside the system, these are the engineers. Engineers will generally have a lot more power over that. They have the power to database. An engineer can directly go and delete the whole database. But the companies trust the engineers because they have hired them, and the cost of regulating that part of the company is very difficult. Okay, it's very difficult to regulate it. It will cost more than what an engineer can harm. So once in like 4 years or 10 years, one engineer might come who will delete a row or a column, but it's not going to happen every day. A user outside the system is typically a hacker or a black hat hacker whose only purpose in life is to delete your database. So this hacker can actually come in. You want to protect yourself from the hacker. Yeah. Hello. Am I stuck? No. Okay. Okay. So now the hacker can, you want to protect your system from everything that a hacker can do, but you will give your engineer a lot of more power because you trust your engineer because he is internal. This is where a lot of difficulties come when you have outside when you have contract workers. They are semi engineers, they are semi internal employees. So it's sometimes a little difficult because they are not totally internal and they are not totally external, and you have to work from there. So yeah. Hello, sorry, there was a mobile call. Okay, so again, the question that engineer can change, an engineer can do bad things with the data. This is possibility, but you will not. You will trust the engineer. This is the word. Internally, you trust the engineers and you let them have those capabilities. Okay, Vivek, you don't uh, untrust your engineers. Anyways, sir, one more question. Yes, please ask. Go ahead. I'm waiting for your question. here. Okay, sorry student, there was an urgency. There was some medical urgency, so I had to take that call. Say to change the customer engineer title for company profit. Suppose company say to engineer to change customer ticket title for company profit. Then customer will get lost, but then the customer will leave the company and company will get lost. So all those business cases will happen, Vivek. That is part of life. The company will say change the status of the ticket, but then customer will get affected. Then customer will go to LinkedIn or Twitter and write it down that company is a bad company and company's image will go bad. So most of these things happen on good faith. Company will try to do good for the customer, and the customer and the engineer will try to do good for the company, and so on and so forth. Okay, that's not part of your design. Okay, you are not going to worry about that while designing your API. Okay, so now you can get the ticket based on ticket ID. A particular ticket, if you want to see, you can send the ticket ID and get it. So this is the token of engineer or customer. Customer can also get the ticket by sending the token, or engineer can get it. Finally, there is a notification feature. The API to raise notification request. There will be a notification service which will send notifications to the customers and the notifications to the customers and the admins and the engineers. Whenever a new ticket is raised uh, for on the engineer should get notified. Whenever a new and whenever a new admin registers, whenever a new registration happens from admin, then a new engineer registration happens, then the admin should be notified if a new engineer comes up. Whenever there is an update in the ticket, then the customer should be notified about the update in the ticket. All these things will be dealt with a notification service. So whenever a new call to API happens, schedule job should readily check new requests and send email notifications. So there should be a cron job. You might have heard about cron jobs. These are small programs that keep on running and keep on checking your database, and whenever there's a change or there's a new request, it sends the updated version to affected parties. So for example, when an engineer updates a ticket, the customer gets notified about it. Whenever an engineer registers himself, the admin gets notified, and then admin can accept the approval. So all that notification is come from a notification service. There's one more thing, integration of notification. So now what you need to do, you should there should be integration between the notification service and the CRM app that you are building. So the ticket management app, ticket management is a service, and there is a notification service. These are two different services. Notification service might be doing it for a bigger client, so they might be doing for ticket management service, they might be doing for marketing service, they might be doing for a bunch of them, but ticket management service will integrate the notification service in them, and then will work together with the notification service. Okay, so that's it for today. Those were the key things that we needed to understand about the CRM app. uh, there are some objective type questions. If you want to install express.js, which command will you use? I'll raise a poll. I'll write it like ABCD. And how do I do the answer? When do we do coding? Coding is starting from next class, maybe next class or maybe one or more class. So this is also important. It's already given. Okay, I'll not give them. Sorry, I don't know about that. Are we going to build all these features in CRM? Yes, we are going to build it. Showing answer also. It is not showing answer. Oh, sorry. It is correct. Oh, sorry. I should not open it. Sorry for that. Fiverr will good to start a freelancer for small service. Yes, Ankit, that is good. All these features is showing answer also. For Monday, we'll start to code. Just give me 1 second. Let me check it and tell you. Just give me 1 second. On Monday, we are going to talk about SQL and NoSQL databases. Uh, so on Monday, we are not going to do coding. On Tuesday, introduction to MongoDB. On Tuesday, we'll start coding. We'll start with MongoDB. Sorry, on Wednesday. On Wednesday, we'll start coding on MongoDB. Okay. But we needed to discuss these things before starting out the coding part. A lot of time goes into these discussions before we can actually do the coding. Okay. Uh, then there will be a data modeling chapter on MongoDB. We'll spend few lectures on MongoDB. Then we'll start building features. We'll start directly building features, and we'll go through each of the features and indexing and all that. There's a lot of to cover in this app. Nothing. It's not going to be as complex as your DSA, but it is going to be having. It will have a lot of moving parts. A lot of simple, but a lot of moving parts, and you just have to keep track of all of them to make the most of this class. Okay, students, that's it from my side. I hope you have enjoyed the class. I hope to see you again soon. Bye, everyone. Yes, you can join that. Kit. That's not a problem. You can join that as a Node.js developer. Any job is better than no job. And then if you have multiple options, then you can choose the better one, Ankit. But if you don't have a option, then you can obviously join whatever comes to you. That's always good. When you have multiple options, then the question arises, which one should I join? Okay, that is the way to think about it. Yeah. Okay, students, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed. Bye. Thanks.